So I'd say close to 2 years ago, I bought a Ford Econoline to make into an adventure van. It was a good sentiment, but it was kind of doomed from the start. It wasn't in bad shape. In fact, I got it up and running really nice, but it was just totally the wrong platform for what I wanted to do with it and the area that I live in. It had high mileage, sucked gas like it had a drinking problem, was only rear-wheel drive, and the nail in the coffin for it was that it was so low on power, being a 6-cylinder and not a V8, that it couldn't even make it over a freeway pass going more than 35 miles an hour. Not a good candidate for a Trans-America road trip. Not to mention, it was garbage in the snow and would be very expensive to convert to being off-road capable. Two years later, armed with some more knowledge, we've moved on to a better, yet smaller platform. This is a 2000 GMC Safari van. There are a buttload of reasons why I went with this van in particular. For one, right out of the box, this van is already all-wheel drive. I won't need to buy transfer cases and rear ends to piece a 4x4 together like I would have had to do with the old Ford. In the inland northwest, it snows for 4 months out of the year, if not more. And if we want to escape these crappy conditions sometimes, we're gonna have to do a lot of driving in it. I'd also like to take this thing on ski trips to the mountain in the winter, which this thing can do and do it well. Also, driving on backcountry roads will be much easier to do with all-wheel drive. And speaking of driving on back roads, lifting these vans is stupid cheap. You can get a 5-inch lift kit for just like $350. Or if you're into swapping parts from a junkyard, even cheaper than that. We're gonna add some height to this thing, but not a ton. Just enough to be able to mount some nice all-terrain tires. These cute little guys get decent gas mileage too, closer to 18 to 20 miles a gallon rather than the about 9 of my old van. Parts are everywhere and affordable, and honestly, I'm starting to like the smaller footprint this van has. It makes it way easier to fit into parking spots and to drive within the city limits. And one important reason I got this thing, just like the rest of my channel, I like to do things that are pretty attainable for the average viewer. Mostly because I'm constantly working on a budget myself and I'm in that same boat. But also, this is a project that won't be crazy spendy. Why spend $80,000 on a Sprinter conversion when we can make this little Safari pretty badass for a drop in the bucket comparatively? And I'd like to keep this project financially transparent, so if this is something that you want to do, you'll kind of know what to expect to spend on your own project. So after hunting for a few weeks, I found a pretty good deal on this thing, right at $1,000 and under 150,000 miles, which I would say is pretty good for a 20-year-old rig. Every other van in the area was going for $3,000 or better with an average of 270,000 miles or higher. So what exactly is wrong with my van to make it so cheap? Well, plenty. Nothing I can't fix pretty easily though. Out of the gate, this thing needed a new power steering pump. It's definitely hard to drive without one of those. This pump also powers the brakes though on this model, so driving this home with no steering or brakes was absolutely terrifying. The driver's door is busted, one of the rear windows is plexiglass, and it has an exhaust leak. It also comes with a roller skating janitor dressed up in a skin-tight spandex bodysuit that seems to be part of the structural integrity of this van. We'll coax him off of it eventually, but we'll take care of that off camera. And man, is this thing just disgusting on the inside. It's nasty and sticky and unfortunately smells a bit of cigarettes. At least it came with some free tools, a yoga mat, and some road trip snacks already. This isn't the worst thing in the world. I actually like detailing cars, so even though half of the stuff in here is borderline biohazard, a good deep clean should quickly get this van comfortable to live in again. As far as maintenance, I've already replaced the power steering pump, so it's roadworthy again. And I will say, it drives really nicely for a van. It has plenty of pep too. So what exactly are our build plans for this? First, we'll get these cemented decals off. We'll add a mild lift to it and some nicer wheels and tires. maybe some more lighting for off-roading, and a roof rack sturdy enough to sit on in the evenings. We'll build out the inside with some sleeping quarters and bike and gear storage. We may do some secondary battery work and a little chest fridge, but that'll be down the line. Also, I've been toying with the idea of rhino lining this whole thing for a new paint job, but I'm not sure about that just yet. We'll see. We'll be working on this project on and off for quite some time, and hopefully we'll have enough work to do to make it through the winter on this build. But we should have plenty to keep us busy for a long time to come. I've already made one trip to the junkyard and pulled some pieces to start bringing this thing back up to its potential. I already started to pull the flooring out, which was absolutely rancid, and taking care of a little subsequent rust issue underneath. I also snagged a different passenger seat with dual armrests to keep the wife comfy on long road trips. The main goal with this thing is to be able to drive it all the way from the Northwest down to Sedona. I'm super excited to actually build a van this time and turn this sad safari into a rad safari. I already have some shiny new pieces set aside for this thing, so expect more content in the near future. If you're pumped on this van build, give this video a like, and to follow along and see more trail builds, POV, and other riding related content, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching today, you guys, and until next time, keep that rubber side down.